I want to welcome on my next guest. We've got former Seahawks All-Pro linebacker and three-time Pro Bowler Lofa Tatupu. Lofa, has everything going for you? The Seahawks are doing pretty well this year.
They look good, man. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So what are they right now? 5-0?
5-0.
5-0. Do you think this is going to continue? I know the secondary has been getting beat a lot, but what's going on with that?
Well, we've brought in some good pieces. You know, everybody points to that, right? You give up yards. It's unfortunate, but we got Russ. We're averaging more than 30 a game. It's you're not going to beat us with field goals as, you know, Miami, who moved the ball well on us, but came away with their first 15 points were all field goals. So that's not going to, you know, be enough to beat Russ. You got to put up 6 to have a chance. And as we even saw with Minnesota, the week before they went on the bye week, Minnesota, they dominated for about 58 minutes, and they left 2 minutes on the clock, the ball in Russell Wilson's hand. And you know, when you do that, that is a recipe for disaster.
What do you think of this rumored news that they're considering signing Antonio Brown?
Well, until it actually happens, it's just, you know, rumors. But to speculate, the guy, I believe he's a Hall of Fame, you know, talent. The numbers don't lie. The only thing, I trust Russ's judgment, you know, because Russell has a relationship with him, and they've hung out and they've played or practiced together. And I know, you know, I trust in Russ like we all do. But I wonder if Antonio will be okay getting 5 to 7 targets as opposed to 12 to 15 he's used to seeing. So other than that, I'm absolutely, and this is the Seahawks. They preach competition, and, you know, iron sharpens iron. So I'd be happy to add him to that room, you know, with DK and the leadership of Russell and Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright. I think he'll be a good fit because of the plays he can make and the opportunities he can create for everybody else. The only underlying issue is I want to know, is he okay with seeing less targets?
And is he going to make sure he stays out of the news aside from football? That's one other thing we get.
Yeah, you're right. But we're all in a bubble now, right? Or, yeah,
you know, hope so. I hope so. Apparently the Raiders haven't been listening. I don't know if you saw that news earlier. Apparently they sent the whole O-line home yesterday. Apparently they've been photographed. None of them have been wearing masks. They've been hanging out. I'm like, if they don't have their whole O-line this week, I think they're playing on Sunday Night Football against, I want to say the Chiefs. Not going to be pretty.
Yeah. You know?
So
as if Tom Brady needs any help. I mean, that defense.
Or Tampa. You're right. Tampa, playing Tampa. Yeah. So I want to ask you a little bit about your career. So I have a question. So I saw you went to Maine before you went to USC. What made you decide to switch?
Well, I didn't really get recruited out. We'll go to the beginning of it, where I didn't get really recruited out of high school. I was a quarterback and a middle linebacker. And the only Division I schools, there's, you know, like 2 or 3 of them that wanted me to play quarterback. And I did a quick, you know, look at the NFL. And I didn't see any 5'11" quarterbacks back then, but I saw a ton of 5'11" linebackers. Dat Wynn, Dexter Coakley, Zach Thomas, London Fletcher. There was a ton. Sam Mills. There was a ton of them. Jesse Tuggle. I could keep going. And I was much better on the defensive side of the ball. So I went to Maine. Fast forward, I had a great year there with my guys, Maine Black Bears, one that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. And I just felt that I owed it to myself, as much work as I put in the game of football my whole life, just being zoned in on making it to the NFL. I owed it to myself to try to play in a big time college school, because I wasn't one of those guys that was going to crush the combine. And, you know, so 4 years at Maine, I don't think would have been that appealing, no matter how many, you know, sacks, interceptions, tackles. They would have been like, okay, but he ran a 4.8.
Yeah.
So I had to prove that 4.8 didn't matter on the big stage. And that's why I transferred to Southern Cal.
Did you say, hey, by the way, I played quarterback if you need it at USC or not?
I mean, I'm pretty sure only Matt Castle could throw the ball farther than me. I could outthrow Liney, but his touch was incredible in terms of, I mean, he's throwing the balls before guys were coming out of their break, and it was just like next level stuff.
Was there any was it an easy transition knowing USC has such a storied past and you're going from a program like Maine to Southern California?
Oh no, it was quite an adjustment. Because in terms of, I said the biggest adjustment from 1AA to Division One, because Division 1AA, I went against a ton of stars in at Maine. Hofstra had some great receivers, Kamal Roy and Marcus Colston ended up coming in the next
He
year.
went to Hofstra?
Yes.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Brian Westbrook, you remember that guy?
Yeah, he went to Temple Nova, one of them,
he
right?
Went to Nova.
Nova.
He gave your the Washington.
Yeah, it's not fond memories when he comes down I-95. I'll tell you that. Even though he's from the DC area, he went to DeMatha.
He did go to DeMatha, didn't I? Heard he could hoop too.
Yeah. So
DeMatha always has talent.
Yeah, it's just everybody. Chase Young, they get everybody. No, yeah. So yeah.
Josh Wilson, my buddy.
For the Washington football team.
Terrapins. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
He was a beast.
Yeah. No, honestly, they should sign him now because I can tell you, they can. Honestly, if you think you can still air the ball out, you'd have a shot at quarterback with the Washington football team because Alex Smith's out there with one leg. Haskins, I think he's back. It's interesting.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm still a believer in Haskins. Saying that, the kid's going to be fine. He'll figure it out. It's an adjustment period coming from college to the NFL, especially when, in the college, there's a lot. They barely even get in the huddle anymore. They call the plays from the sideline. So that's quite an adjustment that a lot of kids, they don't understand. Oh, wait, what do you mean I have to get under center? What do you mean it's like, okay, you got to learn a different scheme and everything. Quarterback's the hardest position to play by far, that or cornerback. But I think he'll be all right.
The one knock I have on Washington that I really kind of thought for a while, I've never really heard it really, a lot of people talk about it in national media, is Russell Wilson is from Virginia. He played high school ball in Virginia.
Yep.
How did the Washington football team not have scouts to know about this kid to draft him?
Well, I mean, he is a two-sport athlete. In college, he went to NC State. I guess, how does he end up at NC State instead of Virginia or any of those great schools right there?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, like everything we've heard about him, largely overlooked to the point where the man can't even get an MVP vote, not one.
This year, he'll get it this year. He'll hopefully.
Better get the whole trophy.
After Rodgers' performance on Sunday, he's going to get the trophy. I think Rodgers was the only threat to him this year. I don't think Mahomes are not. They love to give it to a new guy. I think
Derrick Henry is a very real threat.
Really?
Everyone's talking about Tannehill. This guy's putting up 200 yards rushing. Tannehill's playing great.
I know. They also lost Taylor Lewan for the year, so we'll see if Derrick Henry's numbers can keep up. So we'll see.
Yeah, he's a great talent.
Yeah. So USC, when you kind of getting adjusted there, what was that whole thing like?
Yeah. Well, luckily, I had a year to redshirt because of transfer rules. You can't play right away when you transfer across to Division I AA or up to Division. It keeps people from making that decision, most of the time. But so I had a year to really learn the playbook, learn the defense and how I was going to fit into it. And, they actually had me playing Will at first. And then when an injury happened at middle, they slid me over in spring ball. And that's where I ultimately I won the job.
Wow. Who was the toughest guy for you to match up against while you were at USC when you guys were playing all this top competition?
I saw it every day in practice, whether it was Mike Williams at wide receiver, 6'5", 240, and he could run. Kerry Colbert, great routes and hands. Reggie Bush, Lendale White, Dominique Bird. There was no shortage of talent. And the O-line was great too. A couple first-round picks from there too. So it's and that was the whole thing, was that practice was harder than most of our games. In fact, practice was harder than all but 1 week, I guess, because they ended up winning the game. The only game we lost in the 2 years that I was lucky to start there or blessed to start there, 25-1, we lost to the Cal Bears and a guy by the name of Aaron Rodgers.
He's pretty good. He's done okay. He's done okay. So I have a question. So when you were there, were you focused on college, or was the NFL, were you like, all right, like this is the next goal?
I mean, it was always the goal. Since I was 7 years old, I was telling people I was going to play in the NFL. And, they were like, yeah, sure you are. But, it was just the next step in the line of my dream, following through with my dream.
When did somebody else bring up the NFL to you to make that dream like more of a reality?
Well, I left early as a junior when everybody told me I was crazy again. But you know, a lot of them don't know. I almost I considered leaving after my sophomore year,
Oh,
after
wow.
that first year that we won the Rose Bowl. Um, but I'm glad I did stay because ultimately we would win the outright BCS championship, and then I could, you know, I worked on my skills a little more, and then I made the decision to forego my junior season. And it was really, it wasn't anybody telling me, it was me knowing, you know, what I was capable of. You know, I was blessed to be in that situation with all those All Americans on both offense and defense. So without that, I wouldn't have got the recognition or be seen on the national stage. From there, I looked at the last 2 years of draft, you know, the linebackers that were drafted the two classes before me, how they were doing, guys that I was competing against in the pack, and then guys that were out there all across the nation. And, you know, the ones that I felt like I was comparable to, they were doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Guys that were very instinctive, they were overlooked, no pun intended, if it was height or weight or speed.
Yeah.
They were just they were ball players, and I was like, you know what, I can do this. I know I can, and that's when I made the ultimate decision to enter my name into the draft a year early.
Did you know the Seahawks were looking at you?
I had no idea. So I'll tell you a funny story. So I go to the combine. You know, again, I had a terrible combine and run a 4.8 40. You know, just an afterthought. And then all my boy, you know, because all your buddies, they're going in the draft too, and so they're like, oh, I got, you know, this workout this week. I got to fly to Tampa, or I got to fly. And then they're like, what about you? I was like, man, my phone hasn't rang in weeks. I haven't had one workout. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, did I mess up? Did I think too highly of myself? Which, you know, wouldn't be a surprise. But turns out they were just holding their cards tight. Cincy, Tampa, and Seattle they were all looking at me. They came to the pro day and everything, but I didn't know because I hadn't had any conversations with any of them. One time Tampa called me, and they were like, if you weigh in at 225 or 228, because I weighed 235 at the combine, they said, we'll draft you in the second round. And I was like, if you put that in contract, I'll lose the weight right now. But everybody else is telling me I'm too small. So I'm going to stay at 235 and take my chances with 31 other teams.
Wow.
It worked out.
Yeah. So how did you find out you were going to Seattle?
Well, the draft, you know, had a little draft party with, you know, a bunch of family and friends in Oceanside, California, right there on the beach. And wild story, there was no cell reception. Probably should have thought about that before I picked the location.
Maybe.
So I'm sitting there and my name just pops up on the screen and the place just erupts. I'm talking just, you know, beer flying, you know, everybody's throwing stuff, just like, let's go, you know. And I was like, wait a minute, is that really my name? And so I get on the phone and Holmgren's like, hey, are you sure you want to play football? And I was like, what? Of course I do. He's like, well, you know, you would figure for a guy that they say is so smart, you would figure you'd check the cell reception before you throw a party. And I was like, yeah, a little oversight on my part, but it was one of the best days of my life. You know, and then getting the call from Mike Holmgren, legendary Mike Holmgren, and telling me, congrats, you're a Seahawk. I mean, it was next to being told, congrats, you're a Trojan.
Yeah.
One of the moments I'll always really just love.
Do you know how many times they tried you before they finally got you on the phone?
I don't, but they weren't happy. So that's all I remember is my agent, he was freaking out too. Fletcher, he's like, man, I've been trying to ring you for the last like half hour because, you know, they're like, man, we can't get a hold of this guy. And when the pick comes up, you know, I guess if you don't pick somebody, you go down. If the next team can come in and just swoop, they can like say, well, hey, we'll take so-and-so, and it'll go until, you know, you stop that from happening. But at 48, I know the talks he had since he was ready to take me at 48. And so he called the Hawks. They traded up 2 fourth-round picks to jump from 50 to 45 to get me. And at the time, everybody's like, man, I can't believe we just traded 2 fourth-rounders for an undersized and slow linebacker.
Is that what all the media was saying? Was there anybody saying this was a good pick?
Rob Rang. Remember, do you know that name?
Never heard that name.
He was a Hawks. He's a Hawks insider. I don't know. I think he's with ESPN now, but he was the only one that I remember defending me. And he said, "Hey, mark this down. By the end or in the first couple of years, that stadium's going to be flooded with 51 jerseys." And I was like, "Man, what is it? I got to make this guy right. I got to do it now."
Do guys that get drafted remember the guys who kind of counted them out early on? Is that kind of like a chip on your shoulder kind of thing, or not really?
No, because there was a lot, so I kind of only remember the one that had my back.
So what was your experience like getting to like training camp? Did you have a feeling like, all right, I've got to kind of get some adversity to overcome because everybody thinks it was a bad pick?
Yeah, well, this is the one thing about me is no one's ever had greater expectations, for me than me. I've always believed in myself, just because I know how hard I've worked and how much I've wanted it. And, again, I'll always go back to saying how blessed I was to have the coaching I've had, the teammates I've had, and being in a great situation. The situation you're in, you make the best of it. But when you have some real weapons around you, my D line, everywhere I went was amazing. The linebackers I played with, just ballers. So I've always said that, that success is largely attributed to being surrounded by some phenomenal players and coaches.
Was there anybody you matched up with your rookie year that you were kind of starstruck by, or you were like, all right, I don't know how I'm going to handle myself with this guy?
Drew Bledsoe. So I grew up in Massachusetts, and my dad played for the Patriots for 13 years. So, that's home. So always had a lot of love and respect for the Pats and the former old school players.
Yeah.
And Drew Bledsoe was drafted there in '93 from Washington State. And I remember going to camp, and I still have his card somewhere, signed, autograph. He's got the Cougars jersey on. I was just like, this is wild. Get into my first preseason action, and behind center is Drew Bledsoe. And, so I got to go up to him after the game and say, "Hey, I don't know if you remember, but you signed a card for me when I was 12 years old, and it's just wild that I'm here playing against you." Him, Junior Seau, God rest his soul. The reason I'm playing linebacker, because I always love watching him play. And then Bill Parcells. After that game when we played the Cowboys in preseason, talking to one of my other buddies, and he just stops talking. And I'm like, yeah, like he saw a ghost. I was like, "Yo, what's up?" He's like, "Someone wants to talk to you. I'll see you later." Just walks off. So I turn around. It's, the two security and Bill Parcells. And he's like, "Hey, I just wanted to say, you're a hell of a ball player. And your daddy is one of my all-time favorites, Mosi." So Bill coached the Patriots linebackers when my dad was playing.
Oh, cool.
Over there. And that was like a starstruck moment. That was like, wow, man.
Yeah.
I can't believe Bill Parcells knows who I am.
Yeah.
And that's also just, my dad being my dad, he never would have mentioned anything like that. He's like, "Oh yeah, he coached me." I was like, it's a Hall of Fame coach.
So growing up a Pats fan, but playing for the Seahawks for your whole career, when Malcolm Butler intercepted Russ, what was your thought process?
Oh man, that was the wildest thing we've ever seen. And I just hope for a great game, between the two, because it's your two teams. But would have liked to seen the Hawks get a repeat because it's so rare. The only one other team to do it was the Pats, and they've been blessed with 9 appearances.
Yeah.
So it was wild, man.
I have a question. So your rookie year going to the Pro Bowl, what was that like being at the Pro Bowl when everybody's saying, okay, this guy is an afterthought, like with the draft naysayers?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was an incredible honor, one that comes with great team accomplishments. So we went to the Super Bowl that year, something I'll always, hold dear in my heart. That was quite the journey, coming straight off of, 2 national titles. But the Pro Bowl, man, you want to talk starstruck, man? You're a 23-year-old kid, and you walk up and there's Zach Thomas, there's Ray Lewis, there's everybody you've ever looked up to, and you get to sit there and pick their brain and talk more football because they're all football guys there.
Yeah.
Everybody that goes there, they love ball, and I'm sure all of our wives and significant others probably don't enjoy going
Well,
there because
they like
oh, we're
Honolulu
gonna.
though. Honolulu's it's not better than Orlando in my opinion. So
Yeah, I wish
yeah.
they would move it back because it's an
Yeah.
experience, and there's a lot of guys that opt out of it because it's so close. It's
Yeah.
it used to be a trip for the whole family, right?
Yeah, you can go to
But
Disney in
what
the
about the
summertime. You're good. You're good. It's time for Honolulu.
what about those like Florida, those guys from the Florida teams? Like, oh, I'm going to
They go there
Orlando.
they
Nothing
go to
against
there every
Orlando.
weekend. Every weekend. The Jags, what do you think they're doing on Saturdays? Disney. What
Yeah.
else? What else is there to do? So I have a question. Who's the toughest guy for you to tackle in your entire career?
Oh God. I mean, I I always come back to one of the best running backs I've ever seen, Fred Taylor, and it was speaking of Jacksonville. You just brought them up. Ironic enough, he, I mean, he could do it all. In terms of he could make you miss. He's 6'1", 235, and I mean, I don't know what he clocked, but I never saw anybody catch Fred Taylor when he broke for a long one. I mean, there are some embarrassing clips of all of us of him just pulling away, like leaving us in the dust. So there were so many greats. My former teammate, Marshawn Lynch, MVP, LaDainian Tomlinson, Marshall Falk. I played him at the end of his career. Like I think we only played once or twice. And the guy on a bad knee, the guy was still a nightmare to defend. He was unbelievable. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Steven Jackson, Edge James. But when I have to think about it all, the one that you really can't game plan for is Fred Taylor. If you see him in the open field, if you break down, he's going to run you over. He knows that you're on your heels and he's going to run you over. And if you're coming too aggressive, he knows when to put the foot in the ground and it's just going to look bad. You flying by. So it's like, good luck. Keep the leverage as much as you can, and you better hope the rest of the team rallies to that tackle.
What was it like matching up against Shaun Alexander in practice?
Again, and see, I didn't even get to mention Shaun because I only played him in practice. But MVP, 1,880 yards my rookie season. I mean, that guy was unbelievable. Shaun's vision and his cutback, his shoulders were always square to the line of scrimmage. Rarely ever took a tackle for a loss. He was a beast, man. That's his ability in the red zone. I don't think I've seen anybody better. When you cross that 20-yard line and he like smells that end zone, forget about it.
I think he's one of the most overlooked MVPs in NFL history.
I mean, what's crazy? That year, if you count all the snaps that he didn't play because we were beating teams pretty badly, pretty easily. We reeled off 10 or 11 games straight. And in that streak, I want to say he was sitting by halftime in like 2 or 3 games. Wow. So he probably missed a full game and a half, 2 games, and still got almost 19. He was 20 yards shy of 1,900 yards.
Wow. I think he's in the DC area now too. I've been trying to get him to come on the podcast. I'm still working on that, but he's a legend. And then for Marshawn, was Marshawn always that kind of like playful personality, or over time did he kind of did he kind of open up more?
No, that's who he is. He's a real one, man, and he's the man. I got to play against him. I think it was his rookie year in Buffalo, and I played against him in Cal, so I was familiar with him, and it was always hell going against him. Just an absolute, true to the name, beast mode.
Yeah.
And he could turn it on like that. So, just some of the most epic runs in Seahawk history belong to him. The Beast Quake, of course, again, in the playoffs.
With that incredible commentary from that YouTube guy who people forget how amazing that was. You know what I'm talking about? What the guy? You didn't see that YouTube clip of the guy with Marshawn Lynch? He goes, what did he say? Like, get off me. You can't stop. You never, I'll send it to you. I'll send it. You've never seen that? It's like the most famous YouTube video of all time. The guy who's reviewing him, and then Darren goes, Darren Sharper, the hardest hitting safety in the league.
I haven't seen it because
You haven't seen it? Oh my God! I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you.
About the Greg Jennings Madden one.
That was. I think it was the same guy. It might have been the same guy. The guy. I don't know why he's not calling Monday Night Football. I don't know.
Oh, wow, that electric.
Yeah, the Greg Jennings video every year you gotta watch it. Anytime it's the annual,
I love the anniversary.
He scored on a broken leg. It's one of the most incredible plays in NFL history, even though it didn't happen. It's incredible. And then, so I have a question. Do you remember seeing Marshawn when he stole the cart at Cal?
They just had the anniversary like 4 days ago.
Unbelievable. My hot take about Marshawn: I think he should replace Alex Trebek as the host of Jeopardy.
Oh, okay.
I think it may be the most electric show on TV.
I mean, you just put the camera on him. Yeah. I mean, everything gets inherently better. Like that show, maybe it would, right?
Yeah. So I have a question. So the Seahawks Super Bowl, the one that they won, what was that experience? Were you at the game, I assume?
No, I wasn't. I was like just retiring, like right around. Was it 13? Yeah. And so, it was just incredible. And the fashion that they did it, just an absolute blowout against one of the, historically best offenses we've ever seen. And so it was oddly reminiscent of when we played Oklahoma as USC. And so it was crazy to watch and awesome to watch. And then, of course, fellow Trojan taking home the MVP, Malcolm Smith.
Yeah. He's gonna. It's amazing. Anytime they pop him on, that's the first thing to say. Oh yeah, I got the former Super Bowl MVP Malcolm Smith. He's been all over the league. I don't even know where he is now. I have a question. I have a question. Did you have a feeling when they took Bobby Wagner in the second round, similar to when they took you? Like, all right, this dude's gonna be a difference maker.
I knew athletically he's one of the most gifted linebackers the NFL will ever see. 6 feet, 245, and the 4.4 electronic, like that is hard to come by. But it was, I didn't get to watch a ton of his film,
Was it Utah State?
Utah State. And it's kind of been, a great place for linebackers with the guys that have come out. I think both Vigil brothers came out of there.
Okay.
And then I think Fackrell, Kyle Fackrell.
Yeah.
They put out some backers now. So
yeah. So I have a question. So I know you started up your own business, and then I saw a wild quote. I saw that if you said if the NFL allowed CBD, you could play.
What? You think I can't? No.
Now, you play for Washington. Washington can take anybody. So.
Well, they got good linebackers though, right? But yeah, if you go ahead and make a call, man. If you want me,
I'll get Rivera. I'm telling you, like once. Yeah. So how did you get involved with CBD, and what do you think people like? What are the effects for you?
Oh, I mean, the effect. You not allowed to make claims, but when I left the NFL, and it's hemp-derived CBD, so Zone In that's the logo. That's the Zone In CBD. You can find us at zoneincbd.com and learn more about us. But I got in the industry several years ago, and I just started hearing more and more about the benefits of the plant and what it can do for you. And what it turns out, we have this system comprised in our mind and body. And this system is called the endocannabinoid system. And it transmits signals back and forth, just checking in on how we are mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, however you want to put it. And those signals were disrupted largely by the 10 surgeries and the 15 concussions I've had. Yeah. And I'm here to say today that this plant and CBD has put me back together, mind, body, and soul, to a point where I feel superior to the guy that went to those Pro Bowls. Athletically, I'm more in tune with my body than I've ever been. And that's all because of the way it reacts to our system.
I have a question. If it's been so helpful for you and you see all the stuff and injuries in the NFL all the time, why haven't they strongly considered it more than, like, you said they don't allow it in the NFL?
They even just came out the other day because another current player, I think he signed to advocate or be a brand ambassador for another CBD company. And they warn players that you can't do that. And, I don't know. I don't get it because I think it's part of the stigma. You know, you say hemp, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, that's marijuana, that's cannabis. Yes, it's a cannabis plant, but it's the one with little to no THC, and that's the thing they're worried about is the THC. Which, I mean, it's wild to because I was even reading a recent study and how they're saying it could possibly help treat addiction,
Yeah.
and so it's just ironic that what they always claimed was the gateway drug is actually what they're looking to as to being the solution to help get people away from the harmful drugs, the anti-inflammatories, the opiates, everything that has shown not to be they harmful rather than helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think guys will take advantage of it if they don't even need it? Do you think that's maybe in the back of their mind? Or
Take advantage of.
I mean, like use it just to kind of get better, even though they're really
overuse it,
yeah,
or
yeah. That's
abuse it. I mean,
yeah.
if you do, you're just going to get a more restful sleep. So in low milligrams, it can actually just help bring about mental clarity. Now, when you get into 40, 50, north of 60, milligrams of CBD, it will just have a sedative effect, meaning, calm. That's why they always say, oh, if you're anxious or you should take it for this. The number of stories that hit my phone, that hit my email about, yo, it's doing this for me. It's mind blowing how positive it's reacting with everybody. And so I'm just going to keep singing its praises. I love it so much, and it's changed and it's done so much for me that I sing its praises everywhere I can, anywhere I can. And I'll continue to be an advocate for it as long as I'm alive, man. It's changed my life. I've never known life to be this good. I mean,
cool.
Good life. I'm even repping.
Hey, that's it.
Repping my boy Collie Buds, But it's like I'm saying, it's transcended me into a whole nother level of thinking, feeling, and being, and I couldn't be more grateful for it. And I urge everybody to read about it before you try it.
Of course.
And, it resonates with everybody, and it just brings about balance. And that's the key to life, my man.
Absolutely. So I just want to ask you, so how did you get involved? I know you're one of the co-hosts of the Believe in Seahawks podcast. How did you get involved in that?
So a good old college buddy of mine, Braun, who I went to school with at SC, I saw him at Radio Row for the Super Bowl when I was promoting Zone and CBD.
Oh, cool.
And I did a show with 3 of his guys that were down there promoting their show, and we just hit it off. And he said, hey, you might have a career in this. And I was like, career? I don't know, man. I'm just here to sing my love for CBD. And he's like, no, but you love football. He's like, what if you could do both? And I was like, sign me up, man. I'll do that for free. And he's like, well, hopefully we'll get you some sponsors. But he gave me the opportunity. So I teamed up with Brett Davern and Katie Leclerc. And it's been awesome. I get to talk football. I get to talk CBD, and it's not a job, man. It's fun.
Yeah, yeah. And so I just got one last question for you. What's your prediction for the Seahawks at the end of the season? Are they the team to beat in the NFL right now?
It looks like it to me. So far, I know you look at the schedule, but Miami, they just took it to the Niners. Our division's the hardest.
Yeah.
It's the best division. All teams have a winning record, I believe. Even the Niners at the bottom of 3-3. So it's not losing. But we have the toughest division. We're going to get a good test coming up here this week in Arizona with Kyler Murray and that offense, man. They're impressive. But I'm actually more impressed with what their defense has been doing lately.
Even though they're not using the kid from Clemson. They're not Simmons.
I think they're going to start to – when you lose an MVP, I've always had the utmost respect for Chandler Jones.
He's a beast.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's over 100 sacks already.
Probably the most athletic family of all time.
Just a family of champions, if you want to go there. Two world champion football players, and then you got the baddest man in the world, Johnny Bones, man, a world champion. So it's that's incredible, and I can't believe that doesn't get highlighted more when they talk about athletic families. But yeah, I really feel this is shaping up to be the Seahawks year, more so for reasons other than a great roster and everything. Their ability to handle adversity, and it stems from the top, Pete and John, the way they put this brick by brick and put these pieces, this puzzle together, it's really gelling quite well. And their ability to overcome any obstacle, you saw it. It's been on display against the Patriots, the last second win at the 1 yard line. Yep. Against, Miami hanging tough and then, putting some points up. Minnesota, they shot to a HBO special where Russ put his helmet on before as he watched the fourth down play, he said, all right, let's go win this game. And he just dapped up all his guys. And I've seen Russ do it time and time again. And even the Vikings, man, they unfortunately knew. They were like, man, we probably should have kicked the field goal, because when we did go down and score, we didn't 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
And that is what they need. Those are 2 big plays you need, on top of the 4th downs we overcame. Yeah. But it's that belief is in this team. And we've never gotten off to this fast of a start. No. Usually we hit our stride around game 8 to 12.
Yeah.
Russ starts cooking. The offense is gelling. Well, that's happening a lot earlier. So it's going to be scary down the road. That's my bold prediction. They're going to be beating teams pretty easily in a few weeks.
No, when he threw that needle to Metcalf, I probably jumped out of my skin more than any other play I've seen this year. I'm like, I think right now that's the play of the year.
And that's no easy catch too.
No. I didn't think he was going to catch it.
I didn't think he caught it. I was like, there's no way he caught that when he rolled over. I was like, it had to have hit the ground. And man, how about that guy? I'm sure a lot of teams upset that they passed on him twice.
I don't know how. I'm the team. So for what do you call it? The Titans getting AJ Brown, I understand. Niners getting the kid from South Carolina, I understand. For Philly grabbing, what the hell's the kid's name with the kid with the hyphenated name from Spain? The kid, where do you go? Stanford?
Whiteside?
Him. What the hell are you taking him over Metcalf for? I'm not the GM. I'm not making decisions, but I'm sure now they're probably thinking maybe we messed up. But yeah, Metcalf is he's unreal. He's unbelievable. And another gem the Seahawks have gotten outside the first round, which I think they've done more than any other team in the probably past 20 years. And
yeah, well, and just the way they've approached the draft is, what I believe is they say, hey, if this kid can't help us win now, we're going to trade back, which they historically done many times, trade out of the first round. So then you're also protecting yourself salary cap wise for the future, right? You're not dealing with, a big option on a one more year on a first rounder that hopefully panned out. But if he didn't, it's like, man, that's a big option that we have to pick up. So they've approached it and they've tried to keep as many. I know they wanted to keep Frank Clark, man. That kid, he came up in the system, and I'm happy for him. Not only got paid, but he also got a ring, and he's doing phenomenal things over there in Kansas City. But they found these guys that, for whatever reason, they're underappreciated or undervalued by many other teams, and they know when to get them. Yeah. They know the value that other people have placed on their position, skill set, and everything. And it's incredible. I was able to sit there and coach in 2015 and 16 and watch it, and it was just, I never thought we were going to get Jaron Reed in the second round. I was like, yo, he's gone. As soon as we traded that pick, I was like, yo, he's gone. And I was like sad. I was like, he's gone. And next day, scooped him right away. I was like, unbelievable.
Do you think they made a mistake not re-signing Clowney?
I don't know, 5-0.
The defense. I mean,
we don't have one guy that the team has to game plan for every week, or else he'll pressure the quarterback 5-6 times and get a sack or two. We don't have that guy. And a lot of this, he got a lot of flack for not showing up in the stat sheet, but he was double teamed almost like 80% of the time last year. And it takes a lot of pressure off our other stars. So it's tough, but we went out, we got a guy that puts up 7 sacks from the safety position, Jamal Adams.
Has he even played yet? I'm pretty sure
he played the first 2.5 games. He got hurt in the third game, pulled his groin.
Yeah.
We have the bye week. Hopefully he comes back this week. But if not, man, we need that guy for the long haul. Just let him rest up.
Yeah.
We sent him on a bunch of pressures. He's had 2 sacks already and a bunch of other pressures. Him and Bobby, 2 of the best or most effective blitzers I've seen coming from the second level. So it's going to take a team effort to generate those sacks and that pressure, but we have the guys, capable of doing that. Benson Mayow has done a phenomenal job. I was really excited for Bruce Irvin. It's unfortunate, he got hurt early this season because he's a great guy and super versatile athlete.
Yeah.
But, I'm excited about Demarius Randall. I don't know why that guy.
I forgot they got him. Yeah, Oakland let him go. Yeah. Or Vegas. I don't know. Yeah. No.
I mean, he guy averaged like 4 interceptions for his career. Why is that guy not? And he's played both. He's got value at corner and safety. So, I'm glad we took the flyer on that one.
No, with Clowney, I remember I was watching the film of the game against the Packers on that crucial third down conversion against Jimmy Graham when he stayed in pass coverage and instead of trying to get Rodgers, and then Graham got the conversion, even though I don't think he got the first down last year. Maybe that played it. Yeah. So I don't know. But this has been a ton of fun. How can I really appreciate you taking time. How can people find you on social media and keep up with you?
I don't even know my handle. Instagram, Lofa _ I don't know. You know it.
I'll tag it. I'll put it in. I'll find it. But But
tag me and then I'll repost it, brother.
Cool. Appreciate it, man. We appreciate you taking time. I'm gonna send you that Marshawn video. I can't believe you've never seen it, but appreciate you taking time. It's been a lot of fun, man. And I'm rooting for you guys. See how far you guys can go this season.
All right, brother. You take care. Stay blessed.